0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Have you ever thought about why some people build companies that completely change the world, while others spend their entire lives simply improving what already exists? This simple question sits at the heart of one powerful idea: the difference between going from 0 to 1 and going from 1 to many. Most people believe success comes from copying what already works. If one restaurant becomes popular, hundreds of similar restaurants appear. If one mobile app becomes famous, thousands of clones follow. But this kind of progress only takes the world from one to many. It spreads existing ideas instead of creating something truly new. But real breakthroughs happen when someone creates something that did not exist before. That moment, when a new idea enters the world, is called going from 0 to 1. It means building something original, something that changes the future instead of repeating the past. Think about the first airplane, the first computer, or the first search engine. Before they existed, the world had nothing like them. And once they appeared, everything started to change. New industries, new jobs, and new possibilities were born. The core message here is simple but powerful. Progress does not come from competition alone. It comes from creativity, from bold thinking, and from the courage to build something nobody else has imagined yet. Many people spend their lives competing. They try to be slightly better than others, slightly cheaper, slightly faster. But when everyone is competing the same way, nobody truly wins. The market becomes crowded, profits shrink, and innovation slows down. Creating something new is harder but far more powerful. When you build something unique, you are not fighting hundreds of competitors. Instead, you are creating your own space, your own rules, and your own future. This idea changes the way we think about business, creativity, and even personal success. Instead of asking, "How can I do the same thing better?" the more important question becomes, "What valuable thing can I create that does not exist yet?" When you start thinking this way, your perspective shifts. You stop chasing crowded paths and start searching for hidden opportunities, ideas that others have not noticed, problems that nobody has solved yet. That mindset is the first step toward building the future, because every great innovation, every groundbreaking company, and every revolutionary idea once started as a single thought. Someone believed the future could be different, and that is where the journey from 0 to 1 truly begins, when someone decides not just to improve the world, but to reinvent it completely. The question then becomes how we find those ideas. The answer often begins with curiosity and courage. It requires looking at the world differently, questioning assumptions, and noticing problems others ignore. Great creators and entrepreneurs train their minds to search for secrets, hidden truths about how the world works. When they discover one, they turn it into something real, a product, a technology, or a new system that moves humanity forward. But the most important lesson is this: the future is not something that simply happens. It is something we build. Think for a moment about the world around you. Almost everything you see today started as an idea that once did not exist. There was a time when people could not imagine smartphones, electric cars, online shopping, or social media. Yet today, these things shape our daily lives. The reason they exist is because someone chose to think differently and create something completely new instead of simply improving what already existed. This is the powerful idea behind going from 0 to 1. It represents the moment when something new enters the world for the very first time. It is not about copying a successful idea or making small improvements. It is about creating something original that changes the way people live, work, and think. Most progress in the world happens in two different ways. The first is going from one to many. This happens when people replicate or expand an idea that already exists. For example, if someone opens a successful restaurant, others may open similar restaurants in different locations. The concept spreads, but nothing fundamentally new is created. The second type of progress is far more rare and powerful. That is when someone builds something entirely new, something that did not exist before. This is the jump from 0 to 1. It is the moment innovation is born. When a company invents a groundbreaking technology, it changes the direction of entire industries. A single new invention can create thousands of new opportunities, businesses, and careers. In many ways, the future of society depends on these kinds of innovations. However, most people do not aim for this level of creativity. Instead, they focus on competition. They look at what others are doing and try to do it slightly better or slightly cheaper. While competition may seem productive, it often leads to a crowded market where everyone is fighting for the same space. When businesses only compete, they end up copying each other. Prices drop, profits shrink, and innovation slows down. Instead of building the future, they become trapped in an endless race. True creators avoid this trap. They focus on building something unique. Instead of competing directly with others, they search for ideas that no one else has discovered yet. They look for problems that still need solutions and opportunities that remain hidden. This mindset requires courage because creating something new always involves uncertainty. There is no clear path, no guarantee of success, and often no existing example to follow. But the reward for those who succeed is enormous. They do not just build a business, they shape the future. History shows that the most influential companies were born from original ideas. They did not start by copying competitors. They started by imagining a different future and then working relentlessly to make that vision real. The lesson here is simple but powerful. If we want to create real progress, we must stop thinking only about competition and start thinking about creation. Instead of asking how to improve what already exists, the better question is what new thing we can bring into the world. Because every major breakthrough begins the same way, with a person who decides not to follow the crowd, but to build something that has never existed before. Imagine entering a market where hundreds of businesses are fighting for the same customers. Every company is trying to lower prices, run bigger advertisements, and offer more discounts just to survive. At first, this kind of competition may look healthy, but in reality it often destroys real innovation. One of the most surprising ideas discussed in the book 0 by 1 is that competition is not always a good thing. In fact, when businesses compete too much, they often become trapped in a constant struggle where profits shrink and creativity disappears. Think about it this way. If 10 companies are selling the exact same product, none of them can raise their prices. They are forced to keep lowering costs just to stay in the game. Over time, this pressure makes it harder for them to invest in new ideas or better technology. Instead of building the future, they are simply trying to survive. This is why the most successful companies aim for something very different. Instead of entering crowded markets, they try to build a monopoly. A monopoly is a company that dominates its field by offering something so unique that no one else can compete directly with it. When a company creates a truly new product or technology, it often becomes the only player in that space. Because there are no direct competitors, it gains the freedom to grow, innovate, and invest in the future. This does not mean a monopoly is about controlling people unfairly. In the context of innovation, a monopoly simply means creating something so valuable and unique that customers naturally choose it over everything else. The most powerful companies in history started this way. They did not begin by fighting dozens of competitors. Instead, they built products that were completely different from anything else available at the time. When a company has this kind of uniqueness, it gains several advantages. First, it can invest more money into research and development. Second, it can focus on improving its technology instead of constantly worrying about price wars. And third, it can think long-term instead of chasing short-term survival. Competition forces companies to focus on the present moment, but monopolies allow companies to build the future. However, building a monopoly is not easy. It requires a deep understanding of a problem and a creative solution that others have not discovered yet. Entrepreneurs must ask themselves a powerful question. What valuable company can be built that no one else is building? This question pushes people to search for ideas that are overlooked by the rest of the world. Instead of following trends, they look for hidden opportunities where they can create something completely original. The goal is not simply to enter a market. The goal is to create a new market where your company becomes the leader from the very beginning. When businesses think this way, they stop chasing competition and start focusing on innovation. And that shift in thinking is what transforms ordinary companies into world-changing ones, because in the end, The companies that shape the future are not the ones that fight the hardest battles in crowded markets. They are the ones that create something so unique that the competition disappears altogether. Look around carefully, and you will realize something interesting about the world. Many people believe that almost everything important has already been discovered. They think the biggest inventions have already been made, the best businesses have already been built, and the greatest ideas have already been explored. Because of this belief, most people stop searching for new possibilities. But the truth is very different. The world is still full of secrets. A secret, in this context, is a truth about the world that very few people understand. It could be a hidden problem that nobody has solved yet, or an opportunity that most people have simply ignored. These secrets are everywhere, but they remain invisible to those who believe that nothing new is left to discover. The most successful entrepreneurs and innovators think differently. Instead of assuming the world is fully understood, they believe there are still countless mysteries waiting to be solved. This belief pushes them to observe the world more carefully and ask deeper questions. Why does this system work the way it does? Why hasn't someone solved this problem yet? What if there is a better way to do this? These simple questions can lead to extraordinary discoveries. Throughout history, many groundbreaking companies were built by people who discovered secrets that others overlooked. They saw opportunities hidden in plain sight. While the rest of the world was focused on obvious paths, they explored ideas that seemed unusual or risky at the time. Discovering a secret often requires independent thinking. It means stepping away from the crowd and forming your own conclusions. When everyone believes the same thing, it becomes difficult to notice new possibilities. But when someone dares to question common beliefs, new doors begin to open. This is why great creators are often curious about things others ignore. They pay attention to small problems, strange patterns, and unexplored areas. Over time, these observations help them uncover insights that can change industries. Another important part of discovering secrets is patience. Not every hidden opportunity reveals itself immediately. Sometimes it takes years of learning, experimenting, and observing before a breakthrough appears. But when someone finally uncovers a valuable secret, it can lead to incredible innovation. That secret can become the foundation of a new product, a new technology, or even an entirely new market. In many ways, progress depends on people who believe that the world still holds unexplored truths. Without that belief, innovation would stop. Everyone would simply repeat what already exists. The mindset of searching for secrets transforms the way people approach problems. Instead of accepting things as they are, they begin asking how things could be different. This shift in thinking is powerful because it encourages creativity and discovery. It pushes people to challenge assumptions and imagine possibilities that others never considered. And when someone turns one of these hidden truths into a real solution, they are not just solving a problem. They are creating something that moves humanity forward. The future, after all, is built by those who refuse to believe that everything has already been discovered. Every great company begins long before the product is launched or the first customer appears. It begins with the foundation. Just like a building cannot stand without a strong base, a startup cannot succeed without the right structure, the right people, and the right vision from the very beginning. Many new businesses fail not because their idea was bad, but because their foundation was weak. They rush into the market without carefully thinking about the team, the culture, and the long-term direction of the company. In the early stages, these decisions may seem small, but they eventually shape the entire future of the business. One of the most important decisions in building a startup is choosing the right co-founders. Starting a company is a long and difficult journey filled with uncertainty, pressure, and constant problem-solving. No single person can handle everything alone. This is why the people who start the company together must trust each other deeply and share the same vision. When founders have different goals or conflicting values, problems slowly begin to appear. Small disagreements can turn into major conflicts, and over time, these tensions can destroy the company from within. But when founders share strong trust and a common mission, they become a powerful team capable of overcoming difficult challenges. Another critical part of the foundation is company culture. Culture is not just about office decoration or friendly conversations. It is about the values that guide every decision inside the company. A strong culture creates an environment where people believe in the mission and work together with passion. When employees feel connected to the vision of the company, they are more motivated to solve problems, innovate, and contribute their best ideas. But if the culture is weak or confusing, people simply treat their job as a routine task rather than a meaningful mission. Vision is another essential element. A startup must know exactly what future it wants to create. Without a clear goal, a company can easily lose direction and become distracted by short-term trends. A powerful vision acts like a compass, guiding every decision toward a larger purpose. Great founders do not just focus on today's profits. They think about where the company will be 10 or 20 years from now. This long-term thinking allows them to build strategies that lead to sustainable growth instead of temporary success. Early decisions about ownership and responsibilities are also extremely important. Many startups collapse because roles were never clearly defined. When everyone understands their responsibilities from the start, the team can work smoothly and avoid unnecessary confusion. Building a startup is not just about launching a product. It is about creating a system where talented people work together to build something meaningful. When the foundation is strong, the company can grow with stability and confidence. But when the foundation is weak, even the most exciting idea may struggle to survive. That is why the early stage of a company is so important. The choices made at the beginning quietly shape everything that happens in the future. A strong team, a clear vision, and a healthy culture become the invisible pillars that support the entire journey of the startup. The future of the world is deeply connected to technology. Every major transformation in human history has been driven by new tools, new machines, and new ways of solving problems. Technology does more than make life easier. It changes how societies grow, how economies develop, and how people imagine the future. One important idea discussed in the book 0 by 1 is the difference between globalization and technological progress. At first glance, both may look similar because they both create growth, but they work in very different ways. Globalization means spreading existing ideas to new places. When a successful system or product from one country expands to another, that is globalization. For example, when a factory model used in one nation is copied by another nation, the same system simply grows larger. The world becomes more connected, but the core idea remains the same. Technology, on the other hand, is about creating something entirely new. It represents the jump from 0 to 1, where a new invention changes how things work. Instead of repeating old systems, technology introduces fresh possibilities that never existed before. Both globalization and technology can improve lives, but only technology truly drives long-term progress. Without new inventions, the world would eventually stop moving forward. We would only repeat existing systems instead of discovering better ways to live and work. When a breakthrough technology appears, it often creates a ripple effect across many industries. A single innovation can lead to new companies, new careers, and completely new markets. For example, the development of computers did not just create a new product, it transformed communication, education, business, and entertainment. Technology also increases productivity. When people have better tools, they can accomplish more work with less effort. This allows societies to grow stronger and solve complex challenges that were once impossible. But technological progress does not happen automatically. It requires people who are willing to explore difficult problems and imagine solutions that others cannot yet see. Inventors, scientists, and entrepreneurs play a crucial role in pushing these boundaries. They often spend years experimenting, learning from failures, and refining their ideas before a breakthrough finally appears. What looks like a sudden success from the outside is usually the result of long periods of persistence and creativity. Another important aspect of technology is its ability to shape the future. When a new technology becomes widely adopted, it changes how people think and what they expect from the world. Entire generations grow up with tools that previous generations could not even imagine. This is why innovation is so powerful. It does not just solve today's problems, it creates opportunities that extend far into the future. The next great technological breakthrough could come from anywhere: a small startup, a research lab, or even a single individual with a bold idea. What matters most is the willingness to challenge existing limits and search for better solutions. In the end, the future belongs to those who build technologies that push humanity forward. Every new invention adds another step in the journey from the world we know today to the world that has not yet been created. A lot of people believe that if a company builds a great product, success will automatically follow. The logic sounds simple: create something useful, launch it into the market, and customers will naturally come. But in reality, this belief is one of the biggest mistakes many entrepreneurs make. A great product alone is not enough. Even the most brilliant idea can fail if people never hear about it. This is why sales and distribution are just as important as innovation itself. Building something valuable is only the first step. The next step is making sure it reaches the people who need it. Many engineers and creators focus only on building the perfect product. They spend months or even years improving features, fixing details, and making the design better. While this dedication is important, it often leads them to underestimate the power of distribution. Distribution simply means how a product reaches its customers. It includes marketing, sales strategies, partnerships, and the channels through which a company connects with the market. Without a strong distribution system, even the best products remain invisible. Think about how some companies dominate entire industries. It is not always because their product is dramatically better than everyone else's. Often, their real strength lies in how effectively they deliver their product to the world. When a company masters distribution, it gains a huge advantage. Its product appears everywhere, in advertisements, stores, online platforms, and conversations between customers. Over time, this visibility builds trust and familiarity, making people more likely to choose that product over others. Sales also play a critical role in turning ideas into successful businesses. Sales are not just about convincing people to buy something. At a deeper level, sales are about communication and trust. A good sales strategy explains why a product matters and how it can improve someone's life. Many people underestimate sales because they think great products should sell themselves. But history shows that this rarely happens. Even revolutionary technologies needed strong sales efforts before the world truly understood their value. Another important aspect of distribution is scalability. A company must design systems that allow its product to reach thousands or even millions of people efficiently. This often involves building networks, partnerships, and marketing channels that grow along with the company. When distribution is strong, growth becomes much easier. Instead of struggling to find customers one by one, the company builds a system where customers naturally discover the product. In many ways, distribution acts like the bridge between innovation and impact. Without it, ideas remain small and limited. But with the right strategy, a single invention can spread across the world. The most successful companies understand this balance. They focus not only on creating something valuable, but also on ensuring that value reaches the largest possible audience. Because in the end, innovation changes the world only when people are able to see it, understand it, and use it in their daily lives. The future is not something that simply arrives on its own. It is built step by people who are willing to imagine possibilities that others cannot yet see. Every major invention, every revolutionary company, and every life-changing idea began with someone who believed the future could be different from the present. Most people spend their lives following paths that already exist. They look for safe opportunities, repeat familiar systems, and compete in crowded spaces where thousands of others are trying to do the same thing. While this approach may offer stability, it rarely leads to extraordinary change. True progress happens when someone decides to step away from the crowd and create something new. Instead of asking how to improve what already exists, they ask a far more powerful question: what important thing is missing from the world? That single question has the power to spark innovation. The journey from 0 to 1 is not easy. It requires courage, creativity, and a strong belief in your vision. When someone tries to build something new, there are no clear instructions to follow. There is uncertainty, risk, and sometimes even criticism from people who cannot yet see the potential of the idea. But every breakthrough in history was once uncertain. The people who created those breakthroughs were not always the smartest or the most powerful. Often they were simply the ones who refused to accept the limits of the present world. They believed that progress was still possible. When someone discovers a new idea and turns it into reality, the impact spreads far beyond that single invention. A new technology can create entire industries. A new system can change how millions of people work and communicate. What begins as a small innovation can eventually reshape the world. This is why creativity and independent thinking matter so much. The future belongs to those who are willing to challenge assumptions and explore problems that others overlook. Every generation has the opportunity to build something meaningful. The tools available today are more powerful than ever before. Technology, knowledge, and global connectivity have opened doors that were once impossible to imagine. Somewhere in the world right now, someone is working on the next breakthrough idea. A small team might be designing a technology that will transform an industry. A young entrepreneur might be solving a problem that millions of people face every day. The next great innovation could come from anyone who dares to think differently. And that is the real message behind this journey from 0 to 1. The future is not predetermined. It is shaped by the actions of people who choose to create instead of copy, who choose to innovate instead of compete. If this video helped you understand these powerful ideas and gave you a new perspective on innovation and success, make sure you support the channel. Like the video, share it with someone who loves learning about powerful books and ideas, and subscribe to the channel Richmind Audiobook for more inspiring book summaries and life-changing insights. Your support helps this channel bring more knowledge, more ideas, and more powerful stories that can help all of us think bigger and build a better future.